Welcome back, everyone. We are here for another Q&A on keto and everything nutrition. Anything that I say is not intended to bypass your medical doctor and give you any cures today. So if I do happen to give you a cure, it didn't come from me. Just make up your own mind on that and do your own research. And let's just dive right in.
All right, let's do it. Good morning. I'm sure there's a lot of people, at least in the States, and the UK, that are not the UK, would be stuffed with turkey. So we're all getting over that. Doc, I didn't eat any chocolate or junk yesterday. I'm so proud of myself.
And we got wow, that's a first.
I know, but I'm sure I'll send soon enough. Anyway, why don't we spend some extra time on social media today? There's so many questions this time. I think we're going to try to give them a little more love. And let's start off with Janice from YouTube. Any suggestions for someone who is allergic to nutritional yeast and all kinds of nuts while doing healthy keto? Thanks. So that would kill me.
Well, I think if you're trying to get that B1, you can go with, not sesame seeds, sunflower seeds. That might be an option unless you have an allergy to that. So a lot of people can't do these nuts. It creates a lot of issues. One thing you might want to try if you have a problem with nuts is to soak them in water for maybe a day and then dry them out either in the oven or a dehydrator. And that may just allow you to eat them because you can get rid of enzyme inhibitors. So it can help you greatly. So I might want to try that. But yeah, nutritional yeast, for some people, they just can't do it, unfortunately.
Bummer.
Yep. So of course, I had some poison ivy last Tuesday. I'm just in my eye, actually in my eyelids. So you can see it's still a little bit red.
Ouch.
I did a video on it. So so that's been interesting to say the least.
Wow. Well, you do get out in the jungle, it sounds like. Not housebound. Okay, how about...
All I have to do, Steve, I don't even have to touch it. I can just get, near it, and it somehow activates it.
Oh, my God. Well, get well, Doc. Okay, Jordan from YouTube. I just discovered my deodorant contains maltodextrin. Should I be concerned that this could be absorbed and spike my blood sugar? That's kind of a good question.
No, I don't think it's going to absorb and spike your blood sugar. But I will say that maltodextrin is like 68%. It creates more like a 68% greater response than sugar on your blood sugars, but it's not even classified as a sugar. So a great majority of people are consuming at least 2 ingredients with maltodextrin every single day. So it's, you should watch my video. I'm going to release on that very soon because maltodextrin is, it's a nasty thing for your blood sugars, and it's in so many things, including supplements and it's in flavorings. But there's a starch test that you can do. You mix it with water, put a couple drops of iodine. If it turns dark purple, then there's a starch. It's probably maltodextrin, especially if it's related to your powders or your vitamin powders.
Huh. Okay, here we go again with some alternate ideas. Asia from YouTube. There is a Chinese study that indicates that intermittent fasting can increase the risk of gut and liver cancer. Have you seen any similar data in your research?
I would love to see that data. I'd love to see the study it's based on. It's probably based on a rumor that someone, a neighbor found some editorial thing that is not even connected to a study, but there's no study that shows that. That would mean that in our evolution of, going from living off the land to the modernization of foods, like how many times have we gone without food for periods of time and have done intermittent fasting? It's in our genes. It's been training our genes for a long time that we do better if we don't eat so frequent. So if someone says that eating frequently is beneficial to your health, they don't know what they're talking about because it's going to spike insulin. And so you're just going to keep spiking insulin over and over and over again. And we do better if we wait until we're hungry before we eat. We also do better if we wait till we're thirsty before we drink a lot of water. Look in the wild and animals, right? They don't eat every hour and a half, except I take that back. Okay, cows, sheep, goats, they tend to graze all day, but humans are not meant to graze.
And yet we do. All right, let's see. Marjana from YouTube. I've moved from Europe to Canada. Can my digestive system be impacted by eating different quality foods now?
It's going to be impacted. It just depends on how strong your system is, to how resilient you are to that. Some people can get away with more than others. It really depends on your resiliency and your capacity to adapt to your environment. There's going to be a really cool release on a stress and recovery test device that we're going to be releasing hopefully next week. But I had to kind of simplify it, but it'll measure your autonomic nervous system's ability to adapt to life stresses. And so you can kind of visualize where you're at, and then you can use that to, determine if what you're eating or doing is helping you or hurting you. So it's a great assessment.
Okay, so I think Jennifer is going to ask a question that many, many people would like to know. And she's on YouTube and wants to know, what is the best way to reverse type 2 diabetes?
Understanding that type 2 diabetes is high blood glucose. Okay, that's what it is. So what do you think could create that? Could it be the diet, eating too much sugar and carbs? Maybe what you should do is eliminate that first and then watch what happens. And then your body will be shifting over to burning fat fuel. And that's going to improve that blood sugar thing. I mean, it's amazing to me that the whole focus of diabetes is just to manage your sugars with drugs. But let's get into the diet. Like, that's where it comes from, especially if we're dealing with, the type of calories you're eating. But if you actually can go on a low carb diet for a period of time, you can start to heal your insulin problem. It's called insulin resistance. And then once that's doing better, it's going to take a big stress off the pancreas. Your blood sugars will do better. And then you can take less medication and be less diabetic. So yeah, we have a lot of videos on that. But if you want to find them, you have to type Dr. Berg and blood sugars, Dr. Berg and diabetes. And then I'll give you some great solutions for that.
Okay, let's see here. Denise from YouTube, what can I use to brush my teeth in the morning so that it does not create insulin spike or break my fast with sweet taste of my toothpaste in my mouth? Boy, she's really serious.
Why don't you just make your own toothpaste? There's tons of them out there using baking soda and coconut oil and maybe a couple drops of peppermint oil, things like that, and you can make your own. There's a ton of recipes. Just look under Pinterest and homemade toothpaste. That would be a really good way to do it.
Wonderful. Okay, folks, why don't we kick off with our first question of the day? And Doc, there it is.
All right. Adding cold to your workout. And I'm talking about in different ways, like working out in the winter and maybe wearing less clothes when you're jogging or whatever, or even going a cold immersion. All these things, cold shower, can increase the burning of calories between 22.5 to 48% more than not doing it. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I'm hopeful that it can help, because that's a fairly easy thing to do, although going straight into it from room temperature must be torturous. You know about that now, don't you, Doc?
Oh yeah. I like it. It's like it really brings up your mood. For me, it's like amazing. It's quite amazing. But in this question, it relates to burning of calories.
All right, very good. Sadow10 is the handle from Rumble. I've been Accutane for 5 to 6 months, and I know it's bad for me, and I believe it has contributed to my Crohn's disease. What can I do as an alternative, obviously suffering from acne?
So I missed the first part of that question. I've been what for?
Taking Accutane for 5 to 6 months.
Oh, Accutane.
Yes.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, that's a synthetic vitamin A. It has a lot of side effects. I think what I would do, obviously stop taking it, but realize what that will do to the rest of your vitamins and minerals. It kind of throws off the whole thing. So I would get on the healthy version of keto right immediately, and then start consuming things that have a good source of nutrients, like especially the fat soluble nutrients. You do trace minerals, certain foods that are nutrient dense, and you probably have to add some as well, and slowly put yourself back into place, because you just took this the side effects are just off the charts. But if you clean up your diet, you will find that your acne probably won't even be there in the first place. So I wish I would have known what I know now back when I had bad acne, terrible in high school. So I was eating all the wrong foods. So go to drberg.com and download the free eating plan, and you learn what to do to reverse it.
Yay. Okay, Bettina Christie from YouTube. My father has a bad heart bypass surgery after a clog and is pre-diabetic. Let's see. And she wants to know the amount of fat in a keto diet. Is that going to be dangerous for him given his heart condition?
Well, it's not the fat that's causing the problem, it's the carbs. So he has to clean up the carbs for sure. He wants to have the normal fat that comes with the protein that's going to be healthy. And he doesn't necessarily have to add fat, but I would add the tocotrienols for the inside of the arteries. That's a really important one. I would also, you may want to take something called nattokinase. Nattokinase is a natural fermented product that is really good for breaking up fibrous tissue, which is part of the clot. If there's any clots going on, it tends to thin the blood naturally, but it's a great and powerful way to clean arteries if there is a problem. But the fat in the ketogenic diet is not unhealthy as long as you're consuming like the grass-fed meats and things like that. And as long as you're not also adding the sugar. They had this interesting report in the news that said the keto-like diet has now causes heart problems. The keto-like diet, what's that mean? Well, it's higher in fat, but it's also higher in carbs. So it's like the ketogenic diet. Yeah, but it's not the ketogenic diet. What makes keto is low carb, not high fat. That's what makes keto work. So again, it's just ridiculous.
Well, it certainly is. There's so many, there's keto all over the internet now. They know it's a rage, and you can buy it or order it, but I wouldn't trust any of it. So anyway, Mary Beth from YouTube, why do I only urinate a little when usually I expel a lot more? Could it be dehydration or something else? Thank God you aren't equipped with a prostate, dear. You'd really know some troubles. But anyway, what's going on with her?
Yeah, I don't know. I need more data to evaluate that. For example, are you having the right amount of salt? Are you having the right amount of potassium? Other electrolytes? Is there other issues with carbs? These are all these questions that I would want to know, but I would also at the same time make sure you're on the right eating plan too, because your elimination of certain fluids and hydration is not just about drinking water. It's about the combination of the salts and the electrolytes, and also what you eat. Especially if you tend to eat carbs, you tend to retain fluid. But yeah, and eventually you'll end up urinating through the night. But if you're on a keto, you tend to get rid of a lot of extra fluid. But you may also get rid of electrolytes that hydrate you. So it's hard to answer that question based on what you told me.
Okay, well, this is an educational show, and we'd love to be educated about your problem too, like anyone's, Mary Beth. So we'd ask that you write in perhaps with a little more detail as Dr. Berg outlined. So good luck with that, and don't dry up, and get back in touch with us with more of the symptoms and factors that are involved in that. Orlando from YouTube, I enjoy your health and longevity work along with your supplements and fasting advice. I've been on intermittent fasting for several months, and it really works well to promote weight loss and good health. Thank you. So no question there, just some more praise for the wonderful after effect of behaving according to the keto and intermittent fasting, the right keto and intermittent fasting regime. Okay, Neil from YouTube, do you have any thoughts about using TTFD, a derivative of thiamine? Does it offer any health benefits? Does that sound familiar?
Yes. If I'm not mistaken, that version has been very successful in certain things. It is a synthetic version of B1. I prefer the natural version, which is called L-theanine, if I'm not mistaken, or it's from garlic. But I heard some great data that that one works just as well. That's a good source of B1. So I'm not telling you not to take it. It is a synthetic, which but still has been proven to work as well. So there's options. And if I'm not, I could be mistaken by this. I don't think that one is a fat soluble one. So it really depends on what you're using it for. Determine, if for example, if you want to, and I have a video on this, but if you want to use it for something for like the brain, you would want more of a fat soluble. But of course, the benfotiamine penetrates the peripheral nerves, but doesn't necessarily go up into the central nervous system like other forms. So I would just search out my video because it's kind of a long discussion, a little bit complex to answer that.
All right. Very, very good. We're killing it here on social media, just gobbling through the questions. Rayana from YouTube, I'm trying to quit all sugar. Does that mean I have to quit all fruits too? Question mark.
No, you can still do berries. You can do the berries, but the other fruit tends to be higher in sugar. Now, there is a group of carnivore keto people who are now doing adding fruit and honey. And the reason that some people are able to get away with it because they've now become metabolically flexible. So their insulin resistance is no longer a problem. They can get away with it. But some people can't. Probably most people can't. And so that's why I'm not recommending it, because if you can't break it down and your mitochondria can't use it, then it's just going to create more of a problem. So it's not the majority, but there are exceptions to the rule where people can handle it and they seem to do fine, especially if they're exercising and burning it off. And also, Steve, I just wanted to mention too, for those of you that I think it's, isn't it Black Friday today?
Oh, it sure is.
So we are doing a 15% site-wide sale at drberg.com. You can check that out when we're done today. If you wanted to get a discount on supplements and also stay healthy. So you can check that out later.
Wonderful. And that, of course, is drberg.com, right? It'll give them guidance when they go there.
Correct.
All right, very good. Okay, Deborah from YouTube, can drinking coffee contribute to inflammation? I noticed I have knee pain and stiffness after I've had a few cups.
I'm curious about what kind of coffee. Is it organic? Is there mold in the coffee? So the quality is important too. Also, do you put various creamers in there? Or is it just black coffee? Is it commercial, which has a lot of pesticides, or is it without pesticides? So these are just questions. Typically, there's some benefits of coffee that even help inflammation, but some people, it makes them worse, especially if they have a problem with their gut and they can't tolerate sometimes they can't tolerate any herbs or plants and things like that. So then they should probably avoid that. So that's just a caveat to that question.
All right, very good. Let's go to Facebook. Bill Montoya, what is the best way to help foot fungus like it manifests itself in the toenail?
Tea tree oil is a good one. Iodine will kill off the fungus. So you'd put that on the toe. That's a good one. There's many others, but the tea tree oil is a good one as well. So you can also use garlic. There's quite a few things. There's also a really good delivery natural remedy that actually comes from trees. The processing of trees, because it's a natural remedy. It's called DMSO, and it's a highly soluble solution that tends to have its own anti-inflammatory properties as well as anti-pain, and you can put it topically, but it can drive in. You can put like aloe or put something with it to drive in nutrition into the body topically, but you have to make sure that at the same time there's nothing else that's on your skin, because let's say, for example, I don't know, you have some rat poison in your house and you're putting the rat poison out and you get that on your hand, and then you put DSMO or DMSO on your hand, then it's driving the poison inside your body. So it has to be a clean area without any type of extra things that you don't want driven into your body. What's really wild is a great little demo is to put a couple drops on your feet, and you'll taste some garlic almost instantly because it absorbs into the tissues. So it's very soluble. It goes through right into the joint, into the muscles. That's just a great remedy. But of course, guess what? You're probably not going to easily find it or anything positive about it when you do a search, because all that stuff has been kind of filtered out as misinformation. So this is why one of the things I'm working on now is I'm putting a lot of home remedies and things right on my site. So you can go to Dr. Bergen's site. You know, when I first even got into YouTube, boy, you could find all sorts of amazing remedies, natural remedies on YouTube and Google. Now you can't, it's been filtered, it's been censored. The algorithms have shifted for alternative natural remedies, very unfortunately.
All right. Well, our first quiz question of the day asked, adding cold to your workout can increase the burning of calories between 22.5% and 48%. And our respondents, 96% of them said, oh, yes, it will help. And I'm kind of proud of the 4% for holding out. They say it's false. You don't have to be like everyone else.
It's actually true. Michael Phillips' phenomena is called. Michael Phillips apparently consumed between 10 and 12,000 calories a day. Okay. Now they did some calculations to see it's impossible with what he did, even with his metabolism, to burn that many calories a day. There was about 2,300 calories that just didn't account for the amount of activity that he did. And they found out that actually comes from the cold effect. Because think about it, your body is designed to very importantly keep that core body temperature at 98.6. So it's going to do whatever it can to keep that temperature there to prevent hypothermia. So when you immerse yourself in cold, your body goes into this interesting phenomena where these cold shock proteins kick in, and you start burning a lot of fat really quick. You start burning a lot of calories to generate heat. So it activates brown fat, which then will burn the white fat. And so if you wanted an edge on losing weight, add the cold to your workouts. Workout with less clothes outside, so you're cold. Do the cold immersion. But some of these swimmers, they're swimming in really cold pools, which with that exercise combined, boy, they're just burning so many more calories. So he had to consume 12,000 calories to maintain his weight, because he'd get too thin. So it's the cold X factor.
Boy, that's interesting and encouraging. So folks, just go lay in the snow till you get to your ideal weight. No, I'm gonna try that some more. I do a little cold shower after a sauna. I think I'll stay in there a little longer. And audience, let us know if you do some research and find out that you've actually accelerated your weight goal by doing that. Okay, let's see. Let's go with the next quiz question. This one is a true falser, and there it is.
Okay, true or false? A foot bath detox, you've seen those, right? Can help remove the heavy metals from your body.
Okay. True or false? That's an easy one. Let's see. The Global Vagabond from YouTube. What a handle. I've been on keto for, oops, that jumped. Sorry, folks. Let me get that back up. Oh, God.
Here he
Well,
comes.
here we
Here he
go.
comes.
There we go back. Sorry, folks. We had big question marks all over. Let's see. Let's go to someone else. Sans Mom from Rumble. And welcome, Rumble, folks. We're really glad that you're able to reach Dr. Berg and not be suggested what you can and can't watch. So that's terrific. I've recently contracted MRSA. Coincidentally, it occurred after getting a colonoscopy. What is the best way to clear it out?
Well, I think the best way would be to use a very powerful probiotic. There's several that have been shown to help build up your flora. They're more powerful than the other ones. I don't remember their names or their brands, but you have to do some research on that. But to build up the amount of friendly bacteria you have to counter these pathogenic microbes. And so, and then make sure you start consuming a good amount of fermented foods, especially sauerkraut and kimchi, and maybe even some kefir. Avoid sugars and eat clean, and then give it some time.
All right, very good. OT Robert from Rumble again. I'm on a full carnivore diet and I feel great, but I am prone to diarrhea when eating fatty foods. Ghee, I guess, seems to help it. That's GHEE, seems to help it at times. What else could he do to enjoy the carnivore diet and not spend his afternoon on the toilet?
That's definitely a problem because you don't want to start losing your electrolytes when you have diarrhea. And carnivore, you're going to be consuming fat. So it's like trying to find that sweet spot of how much fat versus protein. That's one thing. Maybe try different types of protein. See if you do better with shellfish or seafood or more eggs. And try to isolate what's the thing that's creating the most diarrhea, and then maybe adjust the fats. In addition to all that, I think I would beef up, no pun intended, your probiotics. Start taking probiotics because that eventually will kind of solve the ultimate problem of just keeping the stool at the correct consistency.
Okay. How about a further word on that? So there's prebiotics and probiotics. Is that a real thing? What's the difference?
Prebiotics are the fiber. Okay, that's the fiber that the microbes eat that then support the amount of probiotics. So basically, prebiotics are fiber, and probiotics are bacteria. So, and it could be yeast too. So you have these this relationship there. The other thing too, when someone's on a carnivore and they're eating a lot of fat, fat's one thing that will trigger your release of bile salts. So bile salts tend to create a laxative effect. If you have too much, that could be causing the diarrhea. And so then what's the remedy? Fiber. But you're not doing fiber on keto. So that's the thing you have to kind of figure out, because it's definitely an interesting problem to solve. But I do not like all these new synthetic, you can call them, fibers. They're called functional fibers, like the soluble corn fiber or the soluble tapioca fiber, or even some of these other fibers called, what is it called? Maltodextrin, IMO, which behaves just like sugar. They even have an interesting maltodextrin fiber. So apparently there's two maltodextrins. One is the regular, the other one's a dietary fiber, which I don't trust that. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I'm not going to drink the Kool-Aid on that. So they say, well, yeah, it's classified as a fiber, so your digestive system won't break it down. Well, it's too highly processed. There's no long-term studies, and I wouldn't mess with it if I were you.
All right, very good. Well,
Plus it's from corn, wheat, potato, and what about, is there glyphosate on there? Like there's just a lot of issues with that topic.
Huh. All right. Well, let's go to, and Terry's going to appreciate this, the home of the Football Hall of Fame, Canton, Ohio. And Rebecca is our guest online this time. And Rebecca, if you're unmuted, you're on with Dr. Berg. Rebecca, do you hear us? Huh. How interesting. All right. Well, let's put Rebecca on hold. Let me try James. I'm not sure if James can hear us. I hope he can. James, are you with us? Yes, he is. Okay, James, I'm going to stick.
Yes, I am.
All right, very good. Hang on. You are on with Dr. Berg. Go ahead.
Good morning or afternoon where you are, Dr. Berg.
Good morning.
Thank you for taking the time. I've been intermittent fasting for quite some time, but I believe I've been doing it wrong. So with the diet wise, so switching over to keto, supplementing correctly. Now I've ordered your electrolytes and the wheat germ or wheatgrass rather, and whatnot. But my question is this: I'm also working out and I'm wanting to supplement, or have been supplementing with EAA powders. Now, my understanding is that'll take me out of autophagy, but will that take me out of fat burning as well if I do it during my fast?
Did you say DHA or DHEA?
I'm sorry, EAA, essential amino acids.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, if you're doing amino acids, that's definitely you're gonna lose the benefit of autophagy, because autophagy is all about recycling amino acids and damaged proteins. And so if you provide those, you won't get the benefit of autophagy. But for some people, it does help them. And if you're doing more of a prolonged fast, because they might lose muscle. But there's this, typically that's not everyone. It's maybe for those people that maybe are prone to atrophy or they're getting a little older. For the majority of people, you're protected by growth hormone that's kind of a protein protector because of growth hormone. So I think you'll get more benefits if you don't supplement with that amino acid. But it comes into play when you're doing more of maybe a 4 or 5 day or a longer fast. But
okay, that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
but yeah,
I'm excited to get on your program and do keto the correct way and with the proper supplementation. And I think I'll give the growth hormone improvement a chance over supplementing for the first month or so. Thank you, doctor.
Try it out. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good question though, because if we want to get that autophagy, which is it's an anti-aging effect. There's some really amazing recycling effects, but it's all controlled by protein. I mean, and other calories too, but especially protein. So if you add that protein, yeah, it's not going to happen.
Wonderful. Great question, James. Thanks for calling in from Tucson, Arizona. Okay, and why don't we see where people are listening to outside of the good old contiguous U.S. So we'd like to say good morning to all of our viewers joining us from the UK, Canada, Mexico, Iran, Nepal, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Oman, Jordan, Australia, China, Brunei, Japan, Tasmania, Calcutta, excuse me. Let's see, Israel, Bermuda, United Arab Emirates, Pakistan, Argentina, Turkey, Mozambique, Romania, the Congo Republic, the Netherlands, Trinidad and Tobago, Egypt, Greece, Poland, Sweden, Scotland, the Dominican Republic, Thailand, Croatia, Palestine, Nigeria, St. Lucia, Finland, Aruba, Chile, Ireland, Peru, New Zealand, and Portugal, and all across these United States and Canada. I'm not sure if we did. We mentioned Canada. So welcome, everybody, and thanks so much for your questions. And I know that most of the people in the U.S. now are rolling around on the floor trying to get over the gluttonous affairs of yesterday, but it's always fun getting together with family and so on. Okay, let's see. Terry, give me that quiz.
So while you're looking at something, Steve, maybe I should just mention what to do after you've overeaten from the Thanksgiving meal. Not that there's anyone listening that has eaten too much and you feel bloated.
Absolutely
But
not.
a couple of things that you want to do is now is the time to fast, do fasting. Also, you could take some type of digestive formula that has the betaine hydrochloride. That's always good to help acidify the stomach. And the apple cider vinegar would be very, very important. And then also, the biggest thing is get outside today and exercise some of those extra sugar calories off. And so if your blood sugars are high, just burn it off with exercise. And the benefit to your mitochondria will be huge. And that's kind of where the damage occurs. So fasting and exercise, get back on the wagon, keto. So now the time is to get back on keto until Christmas time, and then or any other holiday, and then do what you need to do, and then starting the first of the year, start over again. So instead of taking from this period of time all the way into Christmas and having it one, binge fest, which unfortunately a lot of people do.
All right, very good. Let's go to quiz question number 2. The answer: true, false? A foot bath detox can help remove heavy metals from your body. And 55% of our respondents say it's true. 44% say it's false. And people are saying, wait, that's only 99%. Well, the other 1% say there's just not enough evidence. That's interesting.
Well, it looks real, right? Sometimes it would make some sense if you could somehow pull these heavy metals out, but in reality, it's not going to work. It's not that big brown coloring and the rust coloring that you see that's bubbling in the water is not your toxins. It is not the heavy metals coming out of your body. Okay. It's the interaction between, you can even create the same color just without your feet. You're dealing with these metal probes that are different metals. And usually if there's a little rust on it, you're going to get some brown. And the interaction with electrolysis, with the pH, with maybe some soap on your feet that is residue, will create a really interesting, toxic look. But those toxins are not coming out. That's not how heavy metals come out through the body. It's not going to happen. In fact, your feet are just too thick to push out the heavy metals. So I'm sorry to let you in on that. The heavy metals also, and I've really shifted my viewpoint on detoxes because I used to do so many detoxes. And I would get always so sick for 2 weeks. I was totally healthy until I did a detox and I got sick. Start purging different things herbal wise. So I think I've come to the conclusion that I think the best way to detox is slowly. There's a couple things you can do. If you just stimulate your phase 1, phase 2 enzymes in your liver with cruciferous, you can help naturally slowly detoxify. But also fasting, prolonged fasting has been known to decrease toxicity of those heavy metals, like arsenic and cadmium, and even glyphosate can be reduced. So fasting naturally triggers that autophagy, which is the recycling of damaged proteins and pathogens, and it cleans up your body, but also just the buildup of antioxidants and the burning of fat, where a lot of these toxins are stored, get released. But it's released in a nice gradual way. So you have to be careful about these detoxes and trying to pull all these toxins out of your body. You want to do it slowly and correctly.
Okay, so does daily OMAD do the same thing, or does it have to be extended beyond that? I'm not sure if you mentioned that.
I think it's going to help you for sure, to a certain degree. But if you did periodic prolonged fasting, that would be better.
Wonderful. Okay, let's go to quiz question number 3 for the day, and it's another true falser. Doc, do you have that?
How come? Oh, here it is. It was a delayed. Okay, true or false? Vitamin D is not a true vitamin, but actually a hormone.
All right, audience, climb onto that. And let's go over to good old Facebook. And Donna, would magnesium spray castor be better? Oh, excuse me. Would magnesium spray be better than castor oil for inflammation of the bone?
Hip bone.
Hip bone, excuse me. Oh boy, I butchered that. Let's read it again. Would magnesium spray be better than castor oil for inflammation of the hip bone?
They both have benefits for pain and inflammation. I'm not sure which one would be better. I do know castor oil does work also on inflammation, but it's also really good for even the dark circles underneath your eyes, and many other things as well for your skin. But I think, and then the magnesium spray works really good for muscle type soreness and relaxing the muscle and muscle cramps. So I wouldn't know which one would be better.
All right, let's see. Adventurous Asia from YouTube. What are the most probable causes of low stomach acid, and how can Adventurous Asia from YouTube fix it?
Antacids. That's the big one. If you're in an antacid, that is probably the number one reason why you have low stomach acids. Also, age will lower it over time. Processed foods. I'm talking about junk foods, ultra processed foods. So, I mean, I remember in college, I consumed a lot of junk foods, and I did end up having heartburn, even an ulcer. I mean, it was crazy in college. It was crazy to go through that. So firsthand experience, I suffered with that. And I will tell you that the right remedy is not what I did, which is the Tums every few hours, but it's the betaine hydrochloride. That's the best thing to kind of turn that around. I wish I would have known that, but I didn't know that for probably another 12 years after I started getting that problem.
Wow. Well, let's stick with antacids for a minute. JJ from Facebook. Do antacids reduce the absorption of vitamins? And then further, are vitamin patches for the skin effective?
Yeah, I think the patches. I'm not crazy about trying to push a vitamin through the skin. I don't think that's the best way to get absorption. There might be, because when you're dealing with a vitamin, you want the whole complex, right? So how do you make all of those fat soluble and penetrate the skin? The molecules are too big, but there are certain types of lipotrophic vitamins out there that you can push through the skin, but they have to be modified. So that being said, the antacids, when you cause a lowering of the acid in the stomach. So now you can't break down protein like you used to. And what's in protein? Vitamins and minerals, like especially from red meat, you have the B12, you have iron, and you can't break that down as well. So you don't really get the full benefit of those nutrients. Not to mention minerals. So you need an acidic stomach to absorb minerals. So if it's too alkaline or not acid enough, you're not going to absorb the zinc as well, or the calcium, or the other minerals as well.
All right, very good. Let's answer quiz question number 3, or let the audience answer it first. And it asks, true, false, vitamin D is not a true vitamin. It's actually a hormone. And let's see here, 70% of our respondents say that's true, and 30% say no way.
All the descriptive characteristics of vitamin D fall under a hormone, including, affecting our DNA, genes in our DNA. So they have a lot of hormonal properties. Even like the precursor is it's like a steroid precursor made from cholesterol. So all the steroids in the body, steroid hormones, are made from cholesterol, and so is vitamin D. So it's an interesting classification under a vitamin, but it behaves just like a hormone, and it's similar in effect to some of the functions of cortisol to act as an inflammatory, to act on the immune regulation, but it doesn't tend to, bring down your immune system down to zero like cortisol, but it'll kind of bring down a hyperimmune response like cytokine storm down to a normal level. So I think vitamin D is a fascinating vitamin, and I'm going to be releasing two new videos on this topic in relationship to vitamin D and cortisol, and vitamin D and zinc, which I think you'll find very interesting.
All right, very good. Let's go to our fourth question of the day, another true-falser.
Okay, true or false? Grass-fed butter is a rich source of fat-soluble vitamins A, E, D, K2.
Okay, very good. Now, Rebecca, can you hear us? Nod your head if you can. Oh dear, I don't know what's happened to Rebecca. I'm so sorry, but hopefully
I think she's muted on her end.
Yeah, but she should be able to hear us. Yeah.
Maybe you could text her.
Yeah, let me try that. But anyway, in the meantime, let's do some more social media stuff. Okay, Tammy, I have ulcerative colitis and fatty liver. Can I take lemon, ginger, turmeric, water, tea daily?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, is that her? Huh. How
Yes.
odd. Okay,
We
let's.
heard you.
Yeah, can you hear me, Rebecca? Huh. Oh, well, the vagaries of the internet.
That's the problem. She can't hear you, maybe.
Yeah.
Rebecca, can you hear us?
Oh my God.
No, I can't hear you. I heard you, but not the gentleman. Is it
Okay,
time for my question?
Yes. Why don't you ask your
Okay.
question?
Okay. Real quick, it's for my daughter. She's special needs developmental delayed, 41. And I'm just going to go over a few just different issues before this started. In her 20s, she had an adrenal gland issue. She had shingles, and then she had 40 plantar warts on both feet that the Cleveland Clinic burnt for 5 years. So I went to a good chiropractor. He said it was adrenal, put her on the supplement, standard processing, got rid of it. Since then she had syncope, autonomic disease, where she would be dizzy and go to the ground but not pass out. So then it went to stomach pain, and we followed your thing with the beta, whatever that was, and all these standard processing, got that. Now here's the latest thing. She had an ablation May of 2022 because her periods were real heavy. Never said it could stop, put her in menopause. The doctor won't address this. So here's where she is now. She has night sweats and all this, and she had Cleveland Clinic tested her, and her estradiol 17B, which was tested in September and just last week, is less than 25. So they said she's in full menopause. Her gynecologist said that because she's under age 43, that's seriously bad. You could get dementia, heart disease, osteoporosis, and she needs to be put on hormone replacements. I said, absolutely not. I've had a whole bunch of tests run at the Cleveland Clinic, including her C-reactive protein, which is less than 0.3. Her vitamin D is 60.5. What else would be good? HDL 43, but I have all these tests. So my question to you is, what can I do to help my child, who they say now is in menopause and having night flashes? And most recently, she says that the above her upper leg feels like water. Like, Lauren, come here. And I'll let you meet her real quick.
Okay. So,
Here, say hi.
Okay.
Hi.
hello. Okay. So let me give you a quick answer to that quick question. Okay. Because I know that that's important. So, just from the standpoint of warts in general, you think HB, human papillomavirus, that's behind it? No?
No, I think the chiropractor said she has adrenal gland issues and no immunity. So we put her on standard processing.
No, I know that. I was just talking about, she has warts, right?
No, they're done. That was 3 years ago.
Right.
No.
The only reason I'm bringing that up is that's something she had in the past. Okay. Which means that she had some viral. This is part of the answer. The reason I'm bringing it up is because one solution to clearing out HPV also at the same time greatly improves the adrenal glands, which is the backup organ to the ovaries and the uterus. So what happens is, like, you have this, ablation. Now we know that adrenals are like overworking, underpaid, stressed out, and they have to do the work now of other other things. So now we know there's hormones that are compensating. We know that. But the reason I brought up the wart thing is because I don't know if you've ever heard of AHCC, but that is a very interesting thing you should just look at, because it's an extract from a type of mushroom that's really effective at clearing out the HPV, but it also does some fascinating things with the adrenal and the flight or fight mechanism and the autonomic nervous system. You should look that up just as a one more little factor that could help her. The other thing I'm thinking about is just a whole desiccated adrenal. She may already be on that, but she needs like the most help with the adrenal. And of course, the precursor to making adrenal hormones is cholesterol. So we don't want to go low on cholesterol because she needs all the raw material to build up those adrenal hormones, and not just cortisol, all of them. There's another thing too that, I would also possibly get her DHEA tested just to see what's going on with that. That's a kind of a precursor to these hormones, and that can also contribute to making sure it balances out all the hormones without giving her hormones. So it's like a precursor. It's like a raw material type thing. DHEA and also whole desiccated adrenal. Those are two things I'm just thinking as a quick answer to support her adrenals. So hopefully she doesn't have to be in that full-blown menopause at this point, because the concern is this, right? If you're the risk of osteoporosis and all these other issues, but if she has enough adrenal hormones, regardless of what's going on with other body parts, I think she'll be fine.
Well, I guess my question is to you is the thing you're talking about. I've heard you say AHCC because I watch your podcast and I heard it. Where do I buy that? Do you carry that?
No, I don't carry it. I'm going to be releasing a video next week. Well, it'll probably be the following week after that I'm going to talk about that for an hour on my website, and I'll give you some ideas of where to get that. But you can get it anywhere, and there's some good sources, and you can just go by how many people you can read the reviews and just go by that. But,
and then the desiccated adrenal, she's been on that, but then there's another thing. Is it called DHEA? I get it.
Yeah, DHEA is the precursor.
Does Standard Process carry that?
No, Standard Process doesn't carry that one.
I have to go somewhere and
you
find
can get it. You can get it anywhere. And again, I would go by reviews.
The rest
of people. Yeah.
Okay. And then the test I should get her is called a DH test. Because I've had magnesium. She's had her iodine. You talk about iodine being important. Hers is 59. Her doctor said it's normal, but that's low. Would you say she needs better? Like, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say yes. I would say that's a little on the side. Yeah.
And magnesium, I'm out of this. Do you carry magnesium? Because her magnesium's 2.3.
Yeah, we do have magnesium. Magnesium glycinate.
Because I have all these drugs I have wrong here, like green superfoods, the vitamin C, the vitamin D1, and then also on your vitamin D, taking your 10,000 and her. Mine's 104 now. Should we not be taking 10,000 a day? Hers is 60.
Well, the problem is that this one question turned into many questions.
Oh, yeah, so I'm sorry.
I think what we'll do is I think when we do the Q&A on my website coming up soon, then we can have more time on individual things. But
okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are waiting in line to get that one question. You're welcome.
I know. I'm so sorry. You're amazing. I watch everything, and I tell everybody about you because honestly, you helped her so much, and I can't even thank you enough.
Well, you're welcome, and thanks for coming on.
All right, very good. Well, a lot to report back on there, so thank you for that, Rebecca. And let's go to Okay, quiz question number 4. Asked, is it true, false, or grass-fed butter is a rich source of fat-soluble A, E, D, and K2? And guess what? We have a consensus. 100% said yes, it is.
Let's go with the consensus then. Yes, that is. It's a really good source. Grass-finished butter, especially if you can get it from Europe and it's like cultured butter or even raw butter. That's the ultimate, and it has great source of vitamin K2, great source of vitamin A. Great source of vitamin E, and it has some D in there too. So if you're talking about fat soluble vitamins, that would be really good in addition to, of course, liver and maybe even some of the salmon. But the point is that the fat soluble vitamins nowadays, you're not going to get a lot of them from doing plant-based. Now, you will get vitamin K1, but you're not going to get the active form of a lot of these fat soluble nutrients, which are so important for skin, for the immune system, for your bones, for your hair. So don't neglect the butter.
All right, very good. Well, listen, Alicia from Facebook wants to know, how can I start keto while breastfeeding?
Immediately, I would start. I just probably wouldn't do the intermittent fasting too much. I'd do 3 meals, just make sure it's quality foods. But going low carb when you're breastfeeding, I think I would start that immediately. There's no problem with that. I mean, they're really, I mean, if someone tells you that you need more carbs when you're breastfeeding, that's just not true. I mean, even think about what breast milk is. It's the actual such a complex and healthy, the absolute best food that an infant can have, and it's there's a good amount of fat in there. There is lactose, milk sugar, but when a baby is born, they're in ketosis, and so there's a lot of benefit to going on keto, and also just if you're breastfeeding and you're on a high carb diet, like a lot of women, unfortunately, I mean, is that healthy for the baby? I don't think so. It's just a lot of sugar. So I think going low carb would be a very healthy thing, and just try it out and see how they do. See if your baby does better with your diet being on keto.
All right, very good. Judy, in what form would you suggest taking melatonin, or do you suggest taking it?
No, I don't recommend taking it because now you're going to be inactivating your own pineal gland. So what you could do is you can indirectly cause your cells to make more melatonin by being exposed to infrared light. And over 50% of the sun is infrared. Or you can do your fireplace, and you can also candles, campfire. There's different ways you can get an infrared or an infrared light. And it can actually help increase your melatonin.
All right, well, here's one for us. This might even wrap it up. Tammy from Facebook, I have ulcerative colitis, a fatty liver. Can I take lemon, ginger, turmeric, and water tea daily? Do you have a link for someone to start the ketogenic diet? I bet you do.
I do have a link. It's on drberg.com. But I would be careful. If you have inflammation in the colon and you start doing herbs, which are plants and fiber, that may potentially make it worse because there's one. If you have inflammation in the gut, you're going to do better on with less fiber, more carnivore, at least for a while. So watch my videos on that. But for those of you that are still listening, we are doing a site-wide sale at drberg.com. So you get 15% off. You can go there after this and save some money on some nutrients. And on that note, I really appreciate all of you listening in, the wonderful comments. Have a wonderful weekend. Hope you enjoyed your holiday. And I can't believe that this went this fast, Steve.
Isn't that something? Did we get
through all the question and answers?
Oh, man, no, but it's wonderful. We sure got a lot of them. And audience, we really know that, on social media, it's hard. You can't say anything. You got your question there. You'd love to have it answered. So we're working to get more of those questions out as we did today. So keep sending them in. We'll try to get to you.
Steve, I'm going to be doing a lot more Q&As, okay? We're going to do Q&As on our site. So, because I know there's a lot of questions, and I think people want to more of a detailed answers. So stay tuned for that. And also, if you're not on my newsletter on my site, you should go sign up because I'm going to give you some very interesting unfiltered content that you're not going to find on YouTube or social media. I have a lot already that it's lined up. So with our first one being released next week. So I hope to see you on the other side of that. Okay, have a wonderful weekend, and hopefully you didn't eat too much yesterday.